Hi guys, and welcome to Searching for a Purpose. This is my first YouTube video by myself, so bear with me here. Today's topic will be having parents that have addiction problems, whether you ended up in CPS or you stayed with them either way. I think I should probably start with my own personal experience. My mom was addicted to painkillers and heroin for the majority of my life. I remember when I first found out, I was way too young to understand what was going on, but part of me still knew something was wrong. I think I was in elementary school at the time. I was in kindergarten. Um, I was about 5 or 6 years old, and we were having bad weather conditions, and they were sending us home early on the bus. And they tried to get in contact with my mom to inform her, but I guess they couldn't get in touch with her because when I walked through the door and walked into the kitchen, the first thing that I saw was my mother with her face in the table taking a line of what I assume was a painkiller, or it could have been heroin, I'm not sure. I was too young to identify drugs back then, but ever since that day, I always felt a sense of wrongness until I was old enough to understand, and I watched my mom just completely destroy herself. I mean, when I was about 13 years old, which was probably her worst point. Her hair was one big, huge knot. She didn't brush her hair. She didn't take care of herself. Her room reeked. She reeked. And she was just always high. And that's how it goes. And if she wasn't high, she was going through withdrawals. And withdrawals are the absolute worst. And if you've been in this situation and you decided to stick around with your parents, you know that a lot of the times growing up, the responsibility falls on you, and you experience and see a lot of things that a child shouldn't have to see, like overdoses, or again, them going through withdrawals, or them stealing, or people coming to your house, or people shooting up. And it's really, really hard, and it takes a lot of understanding to get over something like that. It took me a really, really, really long time to realize that if love was a factor, addiction wouldn't be a problem, which is the first step to forgiveness. Because you do have to forgive them, even if you say that you aren't angry about it, and until you accept the fact that you are angry about it, you are upset about it, you can't actually ever really get over it. Not saying that you ever will fully get over it, but get over it in the sense that you've come to accept it and you can look at them again as a parent. I never called CPS. I never had CPS called on us. I never talked to anybody about it. Even when I was a kid, I just knew that I wasn't supposed to. And to this day, I'm still not sure if that was a mistake or if I was doing the right thing somehow by sticking by my mom. Because there were things that needed doing that she wouldn't do, like cooking or cleaning, which she did do sometimes in the earlier days before she got too bad, and there's so much emotional maintenance that goes with it. I remember one time in particular, my mom, I was on the computer and she came into the room crying. I had no idea what was going on. And she started just saying, Lily Bell, where's my Lily Bell? I miss my Lily Bell, which was a childhood nickname they used to call me when, I was really little, all the way up until I was like 10 or 11. And it really hurt. I didn't have the maturity at the time to really understand everything that I understand now. If you're going through this currently, I would suggest, informing somebody, whether it's a family member or CPS, whatever you think is best for you. And if you're fresh out of the situation, or if you've been out of the situation for a long time and you still haven't come to accept it, just know that, again, it has nothing to do with them loving you. It has nothing to do with loving anybody. It has everything to do with loving themselves. They don't love themselves enough. And that's usually rooted to mental illness such as depression or PTSD or what have you. And that's just, heroin and painkillers addiction. There's also addictions like meth and cocaine and alcohol and so many other more addictions out there. But my best advice to you is to just remember that it is completely their fault that they became addicted, but it is not their fault that they're an addict. And you have to know that, and you have to accept that. And no matter how many times you ask them or beg them or plead with them, they will not stop. They won't stop until they're ready, or until somebody forces them, or until they go to jail, or they ultimately overdose and die. And that's just the way it is. I mean, you can try to help them all you want, but eventually trying to help them is just going to hurt you. And it's going to take so much from you. It's going to take your heart, and it's going to take your soul, and it's going to affect your brain in ways that you can't even imagine. You could develop anxiety, depression, PTSD, depending on what it is that you are exposed to personally. And it's terrifying. It's one of the most absolutely terrifying things that you'll ever go through. I mean, I remember people coming to our house, breaking down the door, trying to rob us, or people who, always wanted to steal what my mom had, coming over pretending to be her friend. And you can't trust anybody. You can't. Not when it comes to addicts. They don't have friends. They're not your friends. They're not your mom or your dad's friends. They're not. You can't trust them. And even if they don't understand that, you always have to remember that every single person who comes into that house is a danger to you and your family, your mother, your brother, your sister, whatever it is that you have. There were people that my mom ripped off that wanted to rob us. There were times when the cops came through the door and dragged her away. And when the cops come in, very rarely, there are some out there who will care about your situation, but very rarely do they see you as a person. They've just been in the service for so long, or maybe they were never good people in the service to begin with. And I'm not putting down cops. I've met quite a few really good ones, but when you're in a situation like that, they just look at you as the child of an addict. And growing up, you probably will develop depression and anxiety and potentially PTSD as well. And I'll make future videos on, how to deal with those things and how to get past those things. But right now, you should just, if you're going through this particular problem and you're still not over it, you should just focus on you. I mean, I know you're probably worried about them or angry at them or just sad about it, but you have to focus on you. Maintain yourself first, because they are not capable of maintaining themselves, and you can't maintain them either, no matter how much you want to. I'll probably make more videos on this in the future, going more into depth. This is just kind of sort of an intro to it. Like, subscribe if you like the video. Leave your comments below. Share your own personal experience, your own thoughts, feelings, and advice that you would like to give to people going through similar problems.